Welcome to Module 4 of BART's Safety Management System Training Program.
This course will focus on the SMS framework.
Safety Management System definition
Means the formal, top-down, organization-wide approach to managing safety risk and assuring the effectiveness of a transit agency's safety risk mitigation.
SMS includes systematic procedures, practices, and policies for managing risks and hazards.
Some of the key terms in this definition are:
Top-down meaning safety starts with the BART general manager and works down from there.
Organization-wide meaning everyone in the BART organization has a role to play in safety.
Systematic procedures, practices, and policies are the tools that BART will use to manage safety risks.
Another key term is managing safety risk.
Typically in the past, it wasn't until an incident occurred that an agency focused on the safety concern and worked to resolve it.
The investigation of an incident often did not focus on organizational causes, but rather addressed only operational error or equipment failure.
This would be defined as investigating a safety risk, not managing a safety risk.
Investigating is reactive while managing is proactive.
What does it mean to manage safety risk?
To answer this question, you need to ask yourself:
1. What are we managing?
2. What can go wrong?
3. How do we know what can go wrong?
4. What are we doing about it?
5. Is it working?
6. How do we know it works?
7. What level of risk is acceptable to the organization?
The concept of an acceptable level of safety risk is related to a performance-based approach to safety management.
Safety performance monitoring indicates whether the activities implemented to mitigate safety risk meet established safety performance targets.
It will serve as a reference point for the way to manage safety.
To determine, monitor, and manage safety risk, BART must know what the safety risk thresholds are that apply to operations, budget priorities, oversight agencies, and stakeholders.
There are inherent safety risks in everything an individual does every day.
It must be accepted that a certain level of safety risk exists.
SMS acknowledges that safety risk will always be present.
We simply need to ensure the risk is effectively mitigated to the lowest practical level.
What is safety?
Many define safety as the condition of being protected from harm or other non-desirable outcomes like danger, risk, or injury.
Safety can also refer to the control of recognized hazards in order to achieve an acceptable level of risk.
Typically, the answer is knowledge.
But how are hazards recognized?
So ask yourself.
What do you know?
Examples could be data, numbers, facts, reports, etc.,
This is represented by the smallest circle in the center.
which is followed by, what do you know you don't know?
Examples could be lost data, inferior equipment, low resources, financial prohibits, etc.
This is represented as the second circle on the slide.
Finally, what you don't know you don't know.
Examples could be uncaptured data, unidentified hazards or risks.
This is represented by the largest circle on the outside of the circle.
Perhaps Socrates said it best stating, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing."
SMS improves effectiveness by addressing the challenges we continue to face, which build knowledge of where we need to go.
The ever-increasing complexity in transit service delivery operations.
The industry's safety performance, the need to improve the existing safety performance to reverse the current trend and safety plateau we have experienced.
Consistent themes in the causes of accidents.
The gaps and challenges in safety management identified through investigations and audits.
If you remember, we introduced the 4 components of SMS in Module 1.
As a reminder, safety management systems are built on 4 main components.
1. Safety management policy.
2. Safety risk management.
3. Safety assurance.
4. Safety promotion.
We will now take some time to discuss each component in more detail.
SMS Component 1.
Safety management policy.
Signs of an effective safety management policy include the following.
Visible evidence of leadership commitment, demonstrated by example.
Clear lines of safety accountabilities throughout the organization.
SMS activities are fully resourced.
Employees express confidence and trust in the organization's reporting program.
A safety management policy can be broken down into 4 subcomponents.
1. The Safety Management Policy Statement.
2. Accountabilities and responsibilities.
3. Integration with public safety and emergency management.
4. SMS documentation and records. The Safety Management Policy Statement.
A safety management policy statement is a document signed by the accountable executive and distributed throughout a transit agency that formalizes executive leadership's commitments to support SMS with both short-term and long-range initiatives.
A well-thought-out safety management policy statement contains 6 crucial elements.
1. Signed by the highest executive in the agency.
A. Accountable executive, CEO GM.
B. Board of Directors.
2. Clear statement about the provision of resources for the management of safety necessary for service delivery.
3. Employee safety reporting procedures. 6 crucial elements continued.
4. Conditions under which exemptions from disciplinary action would be applicable.
5. Unacceptable operational behaviors.
6. Communication, with visible endorsement, throughout the transit agency.
Accountabilities and responsibilities.
Top management must have the ultimate responsibility for the SMS.
Top management must provide resources essential to implement and maintain the SMS.
Line management is the engine that drives SMS and they are accountable for SMS implementation.
Line management ensures that agency personnel comply with SMS policies and procedures. Safety management is not the sole responsibility of the safety department.
Critical to detail the safety accountabilities and responsibilities for
The accountable executive,
the SMS manager,
key personnel,
organizational structure and arrangements.
the accountable executive will
Ensure safety concerns are considered in the agency's ongoing budget planning process.
ensure transparency in safety management priorities for the board of directors and for the employees.
Establish guidance on the level of safety risk acceptable to the agency.
Ensure safety management policy statement is appropriate and communicated throughout the agency.
The SMS manager and key personnel will
Manage the SMS on behalf of the accountable executive.
direct hazard identification and safety risk evaluation.
Monitor mitigation activities.
Provide periodic reports on safety performance.
Maintain safety documentation.
Plan and organize safety management training.
The scale of this function will vary depending on the size of the organization.
Accountabilities and responsibilities must be
Documented.
communicated throughout the organization.
Include a definition of the management levels that have authority to make decisions regarding safety risk tolerability.
Integration with public safety and emergency management.
Integration with public safety and emergency management.
Ensures integration of programs that have input into, or output from, the safety management system.
Identifies and describes the interface with external organizations.
Ensures coordination in plans for dealing with emergencies and abnormal operations and the return to normal operations.
49 CFR Part 673.11, A6, requires that emergency management program plans, EMPP, be included in BART's PTASP.
This EMPP should encompass or incorporate by reference an emergency preparedness and response plan or procedures that address, at a minimum,
the assignment of employee responsibilities during an emergency, and
coordination with federal, state, regional, and local officials with roles and responsibilities for emergency preparedness and response in the transit agency's service area.
the National Incident Management System, NIMS, requires that all agencies and transit properties have comprehensive and coordinated plans, as well as appropriate employee training.
The two major philosophies are represented by two circles that keep repeating.
One circle displays preparedness, response, recovery, mitigation.
The other circle displays plan, organize and equip, train, exercise, evaluate and improve. SMS documentation and records.
BART must ensure that it formalizes and documents key elements of SMS such as
Safety management policy and objectives.
SMS requirements,
SMS processes and activities.
accountabilities, responsibilities and authorities for processes and activities.
SMS outputs.
Documentation is scalable, but must be sufficient to help institutionalize the processes within SMS.
Documentation and records must be established and maintained in paper or electronic form to describe
Safety policies,
safety objectives,
SMS requirements,
safety procedures and processes,
responsibilities and authorities for safety procedures and processes.
interaction interfaces between safety procedures and processes.
Out of all four components of the SMS framework, BART will spend the greatest amount of time on Component 2.
Safety risk management.
Let me ask you a question.
What does safety look like at BART right now?
Is it good?
Is it bad?
If you think it is bad, what do you think safety at BART should actually look like?
These questions are only designed to make you think.
Signs of effective safety risk management. Uses all relevant and available data.
Assesses hazards systematically and in a timely manner.
Identifies trends and actionable information.
Relies on subject matter expertise.
Provides accountability for risk acceptance.
Ensures trained and qualified safety analysts.
Develops meaningful mitigations and effectiveness targets.
Safety risk management or SRM can be broken down into two subcomponents.
1. Hazard identification and analysis.
2. Safety risk evaluation and mitigation.
Safety risk can be quantified or expressed in terms of the following.
Predicted probability and severity of the consequence of a hazard.
Taking as reference the worst foreseeable, but credible, situation.
Here are some ideas of why safety risk management is so valuable for a safety management system.
Vital to the success of SMS.
Safety hazards must be identified in all agency departments.
Mitigation strategies need to be in place to manage the safety risk.
Safety risk management is a continual process.
SRM process maps to the evolving approaches to safety management.
SRM helps SMS take advantage of reasons model and the practical drift.
SRM analyzes hazards and evaluates safety risks so they can be managed through the SMS.
All companies start out with goals and objectives combined with a strategy to ensure success.
So why do so many companies fail?
Why do employees get hurt or sustain fatal injuries?
Why do products break or become less reliable?
The answer?
Practical drift.
Practical drift is the difference between where we are and where we thought we were.
Oftentimes it is unconscious and we don't even know we have gotten off course.
A good word picture is nautical navigation.
You might only be 2 degrees off your intended destination, but the longer you travel the further you get away from your target.
Unfortunately, in most cases something happens like an accident or injury that brings clarity to your current situation.
You have drifted off your path and need to do something to correct your course. What happened that caused us to deviate from where we thought we were?
Service delivery pressures.
Procedure no longer practical.
Shortcuts are more efficient.
Supervisor allows it.
Informal processes.
Training inadequately conveyed safety risk.
Employees who will be using the process or procedure had no input into its development.
Why evaluate safety risk?
2 possible scenarios once hazard identification and analysis are complete.
1. BART has enough resources to address all anticipated consequences. Or
2. BART does not have enough resources to address all anticipated consequences.
the second scenario is by far the most common for all transit agencies and the critical one to be managed in SMS. Safety risk management follows a process.
1. Hazard identification.
Collect data from,
Operational system description.
review historical data.
Analyze system functions.
2. Hazard analysis.
State generic hazard.
Identify hazard components.
Identify specific consequences.
3. Evaluate the safety risk.
Determine probability.
Determine severity.
Evaluate current mitigations.
Index safety risk.
4. Mitigate the safety risk.
Avoid/reduce/segregate.
This process is continual and you are always monitoring and evaluating your hazards and mitigations.
Hazard identification, hazard analysis and evaluation, and safety risk mitigation will be discussed in greater detail in future modules.
Assess to mitigate and manage.
Assess the probability of occurrence and the severity of the consequences of hazards.
Puts a number on the consequences of hazards.
Provides a basis for making more effective decisions.
Helps identify resources needed to contain the damaging potential of hazard consequences.
Hazard identification, evaluation, and mitigation of identified hazards must be performed and the safety risk must be deemed acceptable prior to implementation of the following items in the operational system.
New system designs.
Changes to existing system designs.
New operations procedures.
Modified operations procedures.
The SRM process should allow BART to take immediate interim action to mitigate existing safety risks until permanent mitigation can be developed, reviewed, approved by the CPUC, and then implemented.
Component 3.
Safety assurance.
Signs of effective safety assurance.
Safety performance indicators are defined and monitored.
Effectiveness of mitigations is verified.
Investigation causal factors include organizational performance.
Ops maintenance processes audited and analyzed for safety concerns.
Changes are proactively assessed.
Areas for improvement are acted upon. Safety assurance can be broken down into 3 subcomponents.
1. Safety performance monitoring.
2. Management of change.
3. Continuous improvement.
Safety assurance can be defined as the processes within BART's safety management system that functions to ensure the implementation and effectiveness of safety risk mitigation, and to ensure that the transit agency meets or exceeds its safety objectives through the collection, analysis, and assessment of information.
Here are some ideas of why safety assurance is valuable for a safety management system.
Safety assurance provides confidence that safety risk mitigations achieve their intended objectives.
Valuable source of data and information.
Systematic and ongoing monitoring and recording of your safety performance.
A continuous process, constantly interacting with safety risk management.
Helps verify that safety performance is in line with safety objectives and targets.
Safety assurance will allow BART to know if and how well our mitigations are working.
Provides key information for data-driven informed decision-making.
Collect and analyze safety performance data.
Provide timely information on safety performance.
Verify safety performance and validate the implementation and effectiveness of safety risk mitigations.
Safety performance monitoring consists of establishing continuous monitoring activities and creating safety performance measures.
Continuous monitoring allows for
safety assurance activities and tools must be established and exercised.
Ongoing capture of data and information is critical.
Collected data and information need to be examined for hazards and measured against safety performance targets.
A robust monitoring program should include the following.
Monitor service delivery activities, must include field observations.
Monitor operational and maintenance data.
Assess external information.
Assess employee safety reporting program.
Conduct evaluations of the SMS.
Conduct safety audits, studies, reviews and inspections.
Conduct safety surveys.
Conduct safety investigations.
These activities will capture data that can be used to create safety performance reporting that can measure the effectiveness of SRM mitigations and the safety management system as a whole.
Safety performance measurement.
Provides indicators for executive management and department heads.
Provides assurance that BART is achieving its safety performance targets.
Provides assurance that SMS and safety risk mitigations are working as anticipated.
Safety performance can be defined as the quantification of the effectiveness of BART to achieve its safety goals.
Safety performance requires BART to define indicators and targets to quantify the effectiveness of agency to achieve its safety goals.
When it comes to safety performance monitoring, here are two keywords.
Safety performance indicators, parameters that typify the safety status of the system.
Safety performance targets, specific level of improvements to be achieved.
I'm Travis Engstrom, Manager of Information Systems for the Bay Area Rapid Transit District. We're the 5th largest heavy rail in the United States, and we operate the subways in downtown San Francisco, downtown Oakland, and we've now extended service into 5 Bay Area counties. We have about 450,000 riders a day, and we think within a few years that number may grow to as high as 650,000. We really need hardcore concrete data in this day and age in order to make decisions, and that requires new technology. GIS is what brought that to the table.
What GIS has done is it has provided a picture to that data. Instead of people making decisions based upon those bits and bytes, they can visually see that information.
We collected years of data that we'd poured our heart and soul into, and now for the first time made it available in one seamless system.
As a very large agency that has a lot of activity happening in our stations and a lot of departments, and to be able to just pull up on my computer the Enterprise GIS system and see what the site plans are, see what the maintenance department is doing at the station, to just in one place access all of that information and know exactly what's going on at every station. I couldn't do my job without Enterprise GIS.
As part of our mobile strategy, we've wanted to make sure that the data that's available on your desktop is available through a web portal, and it's also ubiquitous across mobile devices to ensure that you can do your work from any device, anywhere in the world, at any time.
So as the technician is using his handheld device, he's updating real-time all the work that he's performing. And as he updates that information, it's now into the system, it's being sent to the engineers in their office so they can review the exact same information that the technician is using in the field.
We stopped thinking about the server, the cable, programming. We now think about a business case.
We started to add up how many projects had really benefited, and the count was nearly 100 in less than the first year.
Through the Enterprise GIS system, we can actually drive throughout the entire system any distance we want. We can even hold job safety briefings without ever leaving our office. Track allocation, ops planning, the capabilities are unlimited.
We can do our own analysis. We can pull up these layers of information that we need. We can get our own maps printed. And it saves us both time and money, not having to go out and hire a consultant to do this analysis for us. I can do it in a matter of 15 minutes and have the same information that would have cost me several $1,000s.
We discovered that for every dollar that we were spending on our Enterprise GIS, we were getting, on average, $3.11 back. It has been accepted as now a district-wide enterprise application with dedicated staff and annual resources.
I don't think so there's any project that starts where people don't talk about the benefits that they can gain by using the data that comes out of Enterprise GIS.
I believe we just scratched the surface of what we're going to be able to do with this tool. So we're in the very beginning stages of building something that is going to be incredible.
I love the old adage that all of us are smarter than any of us. And with an enterprise GIS and a collection of all of these different resources, we make better decisions for the future.
Good safety performance indicators are
1. Quantifiable.
2. Representative of what is being measured.
3. Consistent when measuring the same conditions.
4. Detectable through changes in environmental conditions.
5. Easily understood.
6. Capable of data quality control and verification.
7. Manageable total set of metrics, and indicators. Thinking exercise.
Using the following objective, identify the targets, indicators, and activities to be taken to achieve this objective.
Objective: no employee fatalities.
So in your mind, what types of activities would you think BART should monitor?
What indicators should BART be monitoring?
What types of targets should BART put in place?
This table displays examples of possible operations performance measures.
The columns break down into category, the performance measure, what type of indicator, whether leading or lagging, and finally who owns and maintains the data.
These sources of data can be used for trending and mining potential mitigations. National Safety Plan Performance Targets.
BART is required to set and define its safety performance targets in its PTASP based on the safety performance measures in the NSP for
1. Fatalities.
2. Injuries.
3. Safety events.
4. System reliability, state of good repair.
BART may have additional safety performance targets, but it must track these 4 at a minimum.
The pie charts display the National Transit Database 2017 trends for rail safety events.
Between 2008 and 2017, urban transit agencies reported 12,651 rail safety and security events to the NTD, 49% of which occurred on heavy rail (HR) modes.
Management of change.
Management of change defined as a process for identifying and assessing changes that may introduce new hazards or impact BART's safety performance.
If BART determines that a change may impact its safety performance, then BART must evaluate the proposed change through its safety risk management process.
Change needs to be evaluated and monitored.
This illustration displays examples of possible elements to evaluate every time that there is a potential system change.
For instance,
when it comes to people,
we should consider potential human engineering and fatigue issues.
When it comes to procedures,
we should consider potential rules, operating procedures, and maintenance procedures issues.
When it comes to equipment,
we should consider potential facility equipment, operating system, and vehicle issues.
When it comes to the BART system environment,
we should consider fire alarms, train control, traction power, communications, and emergency response systems issues.
This slide illustrates the thought process behind the idea of change management.
The first question you ask is,
could the change impact safety?
If the answer is a no, you proceed but continue to monitor and measure in case this change ultimately creates an impact on safety.
If the answer is yes, you proceed with the SRM or safety risk management process where you identify all hazards, perform a hazard analysis, evaluate the safety risks, and finally mitigate the risks to an acceptable level.
No matter if the answer is yes or no, the system should always be monitored and measured against any potential practical drift.
Management of change criteria must be unquestionably supported by all levels of management.
Continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement can be defined as a process by which BART examines safety performance to identify safety deficiencies and carry out a plan to address the identified safety deficiencies.
Component 4.
Safety promotion.
Signs of effective safety promotion include:
Personnel are trained and competent to perform their duties.
training program is monitored for effectiveness and updated, as needed.
Safety communication tools and processes are well defined and used.
All employees understand their role with respect to safety.
Safety promotion can be broken down into two subcomponents.
1. Safety communication.
2. Competencies and training.
Safety promotion.
Provides ongoing communication, up, down and across.
Communicates lessons learned and safety information.
Demonstrates management commitment.
Develops safety management skills to support safety performance improvements.
Safety communication.
Safety communications.
Include information on hazards and safety risks that are relevant to the employee's role and responsibilities.
Explain reasons that BART introduces or changes policies, activities, or procedures.
Explain to an employee when actions are taken in response to reports submitted by the employee.
Define the means and mechanisms for effective safety communication based on its organization, structure, and size of operations.
The purposes of safety communications include:
ensure that personnel are aware of the SMS.
Convey safety critical information.
Explain why particular safety actions are taken.
Explain why safety procedures are introduced or changed.
Provide feedback on employee-reported hazards and safety concerns.
Effective safety promotion communications often have the following consistencies.
Messages are brief and have a crystal clear focus.
Messengers are passionate about their subject and authentically talk about what they really feel and think.
Good communicators actively listen and ask strategic questions to cultivate deeper understanding.
Strong communication leaves no doubt of how to respond to the communication because it calls people to action.
Remember, communication is a transaction between at least two individuals. We need to ensure the message was heard and understood.
Things to consider.
Criticality of information being conveyed.
Formality of information.
Sign-off necessary?
Is this so important that you need written proof of delivery?
Repeat back?
Is this a movement instruction or safety instruction that requires a 100% understanding that the intended message was received correctly?
Thinking exercise.
Come up with a list of 5 methods for communicating with employees about safety.
What did you come up with?
Sign for,
Email,
test message,
track bulletin, general order, operating bulletin.
competencies and training.
Personnel competency.
Assign an adequately trained safety officer who reports directly to the accountable executive.
Develop and implement a comprehensive staff training program.
Document competency requirements for safety-related positions.
Ensure that individuals in the identified positions meet the documented competency requirements.
Develop procedures to evaluate human factors including
Employee fitness for duty.
impairment by use of alcohol and controlled substances.
Determining where medical intervention may be appropriate.
Screening for sleep disorders.
Providing treatment for persons with sleep disorder diagnoses.
Determining need for progressive remedial interventions, up to and including disqualification or termination, for certain safety-sensitive positions.
This slide illustrates the different competencies and training requirements that might be associated with all employees, managers and supervisors, and senior management.
Each individual group will play a significant and unique role that embodies the training and knowledge needed to feed the safety promotion component of BART's safety management system.
The requirements of competency and training are scalable approaches which could consist of the following.
In-house training program.
Combination of classroom, online, self-directed study, workshops, and toolbox talks.
Contracted training.
Combination of classroom and online learning.